Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of Supernatural Breakdown, and I'm kind of torn on this episode. I did like how they did the Monster of the Week in this episode, but we've now gone 2 episodes, and it just seems that the arc of Jack and the whole time, alternate reality, jumping kind of portal thing, has come to a halt. And granted, we do get in this episode them giving us some updates to a degree, showing that they are still actively trying to do stuff with the arc, but it just seems like the momentum is ground to a halt, which I'm not really liking that much, because in this episode we didn't get any updates on Mary and Jack, we didn't get any updates on Lucifer and Cass and Asmodeus, and it's just going, okay, I like Monster of the Week ones done right, like this one would have been done right if it had been kind of somewhere else or done more to connect it with the overall arc. So, we get into the beginning of the episode and we see this girl stopping at a gas station, and it's all kind of spooky and everything, and she goes into this truck stop, and all the conversation kind of stops a little bit and asks for gas at the pump, and we get the cashier dude being kind of creepy towards her and everything, and she goes out, gets gassed up and everything, and then we get a jump scare of a dude asking to wash her windows. Then, of course, she goes off and she gets a flat tire. And we see that it's a bar kind of thing that's used for, the police stretches to stop the people that they're pursuing and make sure that they can catch them. And it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. She tries to flag down this truck that's going, but of course nothing happens except that the truck goes by and this dude comes out in this crazy get up and pretty much abducts her. So then we get to Sam and Dean, and we get some kind of fallout from their kind of scenario. We see that Sam is sleeping in, Dean's trying to waken him up for pancakes and everything, whereas Sam's usually the early riser. He's only up at around now 10 or whatnot because he got a phone call, and he goes in and puts it on speaker, and it's Donna. And we find out that the girl in the beginning of the episode was her niece, and that she's really freaked out and would like their help. Dean, of course, drop of a hat and go, okay, yeah, let's go and help. No problem. And that's what I really like about Dean. If you're one of their allies, you're family to him. And he'll drop it and everything. So, of course, they go and they kind of get their lay of the land of what's going on. Donna fills them in that Jody's got her hands with the girls, full with the girls and all that, so they're not going to be any help. So I'm like, okay, that's alright. And then, of course, they're the only ones that she could turn to. And Doug is with her as well, and they've already got an FBI agent there as well. So, of course, Dean had to do some covering when he was looking at the car and all that, and played off that he was Donna's cousin. And Doug's like, oh, okay, I didn't know about that and everything, and just playing it and all that. And we learned some more that this is a kind of serial killer kind of case, but they have never recovered any bodies. Nicknamed the Butterfly, taking people that nobody would really miss. So we've got this kind of cold case serial killer thing going on, and it's not their typical case, at least that we see at the moment. So of course, they're getting the rundown from everything. Donna's kind of freaked out, but the boys go back. Sam's trying to say that this isn't really their case, but of course Dean's like, this is one of our own. We're going to help out. And how Dean kind of does it is pretty cool. He pulls out a radio for truckers and everything, just doing like what Dad would do. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. And of course, Sam is kind of looking into the relationships the brothers usually have with people, and we don't get that until the end of the episode, but he's worried about their effect on people because they try and save their mom, and Jack gets screwed up and thrown into another dimension, and they're still trying to help find him and all that, and everybody usually ends up bad with the Winchesters whenever they get involved. So I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good angle to kind of work around. So Dean gets a hit and is talking to the trucker who was at the truck stop and was also the one that drove by her, and she felt sorry. And of course, they're talking about how the truck stop dude was acting kind of creepy towards her and all that kind of stuff. We got then bring in the traveling preacher. That's how Sam, Donna, and the FBI man kind of go into him. It was interesting to see how different Sam and Dean's kind of trails were going, and how Sam and the FBI agent were trying to grill the preacher dude, but then of course Donna goes in and really we get some good character development with Donna on this, kind of pushing her more towards the path of being a full-fledged hunter. Not that she isn't one, but making her almost completely on the path, similar to like Jodie and all that. So she's digging into this. She wants to find her niece, and we find out that the preacher dude is just kind of a red herring. And they dig a little deeper, and Dean's the one that cracks the case, gets onto the guy who was being creepy on her and everything, also because it was kind of verified through the window washing dude. And we find out that there's this Twitch-like website where people are bidding money for body parts of people. And I really kind of liked that. It was an interesting way of doing the tech, and then we get it further in that it's not just people bidding for body parts, it's monsters for food. It's almost a food service for monsters. Pulling in it that way, it was really effectively well done, I think, and just a different kind of taking kind of positive things you can have with that kind of live broadcasting and completely turning it dark where people are like, hey, you don't have to hunt for your food. We will bring it to you. You just pay for the part that you want. It's like, holy shit. It's almost like KFC. You go to the bucket and you're like, do I want a wing? Do I want a thigh? Do I want a breast? What do I want? Oh, okay. And, of course, they bring the dude along. The FBI agent's able to track to a building. They get there, but we find out that it was a setup. The kid who was the creeper turns out to be a vampire and attempts to turn Doug into a vampire as well. I say attempts in that Doug never feeds, and they're able to give him the cure similar to Dean, but it was really effective seeing Donna, because the creeper dude's going, I don't have anything, whatever, and you need me alive for the blood at least at the moment, and then Donna just uses a shotgun, takes out his leg, and he's going, what, you're going to kill me? And he goes, yeah, I can kill you no matter what. You just tell us what's going on, because at this point, we find out that the FBI guy is in on it as well. He's the butterfly and kidnaps Sam and tries to start an auction with him. And we see a lot of people going in and buying various body parts for him. And, of course, Donna and Doug and Dean are able to get to the place. Donna is able to save her niece, and we just find out that the dude who's doing the cutting up is just a dude. And Dean is able to come in and stop the FBI agent before he's able to catch Sam. Ironically enough, he's saying that, like, I'm going to do this quick and dirty before your brother gets here, but of course we hear the gunshot, and I don't mind those situations, but they have to create a better tension, because we know that they're not going to die until probably like the last episode of the series, if it's ever going to be it. They need to be able to do a better kind of tension on that, because you hear the gunshot, you're like, Dean got there fast enough to save the day. I mean, yeah. They're not going to unceremoniously do that unless they're going into a Bobby scenario where one of them turns into a ghost, but then that would take a little bit more creative than going into the Monster of the Week. That would probably be put into the art thing. So everybody's okay, and her niece is alright, Doug's alright, and it's like, okay, cool. So we get into them talking in the hotel room, and Doug's just trying to wrap his head around the enormity that he was about to be turned into a vampire. Well, he was turned into a vampire, and that there's monsters and everything. And Donna's trying to be, she's being really supportive of him learning about this, but he, of course, says no and pretty much breaks up with her and leaves. And I don't know what I wanted from this, because it just seemed like it was more trying to push Donna onto the Wayward Sisters path more than it being its own kind of beat. That's the kind of weird thing that they're going to have to work around when they're kind of trying to transition these characters from one show to the other and get them into more kind of crossover territory. It felt so shortened, in my opinion, truncated, where it wasn't a big focus of the episode. More of it was divided among Sam and Dean focusing on their whole relationship, Donna trying to get her niece back, and then this kind of just popped up and like, okay. I don't know. It just didn't sit completely right with me. Not the matter of the fact that, like, Doug left. It's just the execution of it could have been a little bit better. But, of course, we get Donna figuring out more of what it means to be a hunter and fight these monsters. Even though she's good at it, even though she likes doing it to help people, some people are not comfortable with that risk and don't want to be in a relationship that'll put them in that risk. Now, granted, Doug's never going to be right because he knows that the monsters are out there now. So he's going to have to learn how to protect himself. And, of course, we get to the end of the episode, and Sam's spouting off about how he doesn't like how everyone around them gets hurt, and it's always in the way. Like how we try and help get Mom, and we lose Jack, and everything that's been going on, and then he says that the only way this ends is bloody. And, yeah, pretty much. But I'm going to be interested to see, because this was kind of where Dean was in the beginning of the season, and now we're seeing Sam at that route. I'd like to see how Dean is able to bring Sam back from that, because, yes, people get hurt, but sometimes you have to realize that that pain, it comes with the balancing act of the positivity of having those relationships and having those good memories and being able to help people. Having those companionships, it's that balancing act. Of course it's going to hurt, but if you don't do those things, you kind of shut yourself off from the world, and that just leads to nothing getting better, and everybody just only looking out for themselves and just killing each other. So, and then of course, that's the perfect point for the monsters to go, hey, buffet over here. So, I hope that they do something with this, but I hope going forward they resuscitate the momentum of the arc that's going on in this season, because we're going 2 episodes and it feels like nothing's going on that front, because there's a big thing that the death of Kaya opens up, is that was the Dreamwalker, their eyes of their potential opening of the gateways. So they're gonna either need Dark Kaya or to figure out something else, and if we stretch that into like I would hope it would just be a 1-episode arc to try and find that. But if they stretch it out even longer, we're kind of getting to the back end. We've got to start ramping up for what is eventually coming forward down the line towards the season finale. And I just don't see that at the moment. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.